Anthropomantic Fiend, and I do horror-related things on the internet. I hope everyone has been having a wonderful Halloween season so far. I've been watching as many horror movies as I can that are seasonally appropriate and doing lots of other seasonal things, and the weather is finally appropriate for the season, and I am just very happy. Today I am going to be ranking all of the movies, sort of, in the big box of horror. And I say sort of because this says 9 movies. There are 5 movies in this box. I think this is not actually the whole big box of horror. I think this is half of the big box of horror. There was another half of this that was taped to this, like, with the 30 Nightmare movies set that I have, and it somehow got separated, and I just got the 5 movies. If I can find a full big box of horror at some point, I will review all of the other movies that I missed. But as of now, I am just going to be ranking all of the movies in here. For the record, the reason I have already ranked 30 Nightmare movies and I'm ranking this, and I have not yet ranked that big classic horror collection that I did a lot of the older black and white movie reviews from and such, is because I have not yet reviewed all the movies in the box set. There's one more that I'm saving for a little bit later in the year. After I have done that, I will rank all of the movies in that, which is going to be an ordeal, but I'm going to do it. Today, I only have 5 movies to talk about, but here we go. At the very bottom is going to be The Cry. This is a movie that I've already reviewed. It was in the 30 Nightmare movies set. It is about La Llorona, the spirit of the crying woman who kills her children in Manhattan, basically. It's La Llorona takes Manhattan. She starts working her way into the mind of this one woman and another woman, and they have this urge to kill their children. It's kind of creepy, but ultimately, it doesn't do a lot for me. There's some CGI and stuff that just doesn't work. The acting isn't that great, and the story just isn't super compelling. It has its creepy moments, but I'm just not about it. I'm not really compelled to revisit it. It's just kind of not garbage, but At number 4 is going to be Bay Coven, which I actually ended up really liking. It is a made-for-TV movie about a couple who move to this little island community, Bay Cove. They find themselves in the midst of a coven of witches. It is very surreal, very plot twisty, and honestly a lot of fun. It's a little bit rambling, and I could kind of predict what was going to happen, but it was a good time. I really enjoyed it. It's a little bit cheesy, a little bit predictable, but I ultimately liked it. At number 3 is going to be Midnight's Child. I just reviewed this one. It's about a family who hire basically a nanny for their kid. She's probably not all that she seems. There starts to be family issues, and there's clearly something creepy going on there. I think I added this in post when I did the review, but this actually stars a very young Elizabeth Moss as the child. She was in the new Invisible Man movie. She's probably been in a lot of other things that I'm not as familiar with. This one was actually a surprisingly well-crafted story. It featured this beautiful but eerie fairy tale artwork, and it was just a really well-crafted thriller with a creepy, potentially occult twist to it. At number 2 is The Cellar Door. This is about a creepy stalker character named Herman who kidnaps a girl named Rudy and locks her up in his basement. It is about her trying to escape and him being weird and creepy, basically, because he's like disturbingly nice to her, but if things don't go exactly his way, he blames it on her. It's a very uncomfortable movie. Everything just feels very unfriendly. There's a really weird scene involving chocolate cake that I talked about in the review, and it's just a very weird, uncomfortable movie with a sense of dark humor. It's not one that I'm super keen to revisit, but I was very invested in the story, and it was very effectively creepy and uncomfortable and gritty, and the ending was very satisfying to me. I really did like the characters. I mean, Herman's not a likable person, but I liked him as a character, and Rudy and her girlfriend are super likable characters. At number 1 is Hurt. This is a very creepy thriller about a family who move out to this house with their uncle in the middle of a junkyard in the desert. Following a terrible car accident that killed their father, they end up bringing in this girl to live with the family adopted who lost her dad and mom in a car crash. The family starts to kind of fall apart, and the girl might not be what she seems. This sounds very similar to Midnight's Child when I say it this way, but it's not. It's a really, really gritty but also elegantly made thriller with some very, very brutal deaths in it. All the characters are really compelling and really likable, even the ones that you're not really on the side of. You can understand, you can sympathize with them. They're all very three-dimensional characters. I don't want to dig into everything the way I did in the review, but it is just a really well-crafted, emotional, and legitimately tragic, disturbing movie. This is not the whole big box of horror. I don't know what else is on there, but based on just these 5 movies, I do highly recommend looking into getting the big box of horror, because I do think it is worth it for all of these movies. They're not all masterpieces, but they are all really solid movies that I think are worth your time to some extent. I actually don't know what I'm going to be reviewing next. I have some movies that have been requested by friends for a very, very long time that I would like to get into at some point, plus some classics I'd just like to revisit and talk about and gush about. But I'm going to be taking a break from reviews for this next couple of weeks. I have some very special videos coming up for Halloween. I would like to resume reviewing movies at some point. I just don't know what they're going to be yet. Definitely recommend the big box of horror, at least these 5 movies. Thank you for watching my video, and hopefully I will see you in another one. Bye.